Wow, they said it couldn't be done, huh? So my name's Joseph W. Brady. I'm proud to be the current president of the Board of Trustees. I'm the warm-up for our incoming president, Brandon Wood. Brandon's on over there. What's that? You're at the bar. And I'm pleased to welcome you here. I'm going to have Paul say what you want, then we'll do the roll call.
No worries. Welcome. It's a long time coming together to get this event to happen. And I appreciate everybody's efforts and all the time and expenses put into this. I want to welcome you all here and just thank you.
We need the roll call to be taken since this is a public meeting. So we show Barstow roll call first.
Vice President Julie Hackbarth McIntyre.
Present.
Thank you. Trustee Fernando Baca is absent. Trustee Yolanda Minor.
Present.
Trustee John Gregg.
Present.
Student Trustee Valerie Pamphil.
Present.
And Board President Paul Wilkie is present.
Joseph W. Brady is president. Brandon Wood.
Present.
Trustee Laura DeVericus.
Present.
Trustee Jennifer Tarpley.
So Trustee Tarpley had to go to the hospital in emergency with her mother-in-law.
Ooh, so please keep her. And our student trustee.
Present.
Great. So let me just kind of spend about 2 minutes and give you a little history on how this came together. And I want to, from the bottom of my heart, thank Dr. Bagg, who's not only a great president superintendent and a friend, and our president superintendent, Dr. Walden. I was lucky enough to be appointed as a trustee on February 1st of 2011, and found it kind of a lonely experience because I didn't have a lot of people to turn to here at VVC to get advice as a trustee. So I turned and got advice from one of your former trustees and a person who I just hold deeply in my heart, who passed away a couple of years, and that's Ted Baca. Ted and I have known each other for many, many years. We do business in Barstow. We've owned multiple companies out there. I control kind of all the land around Home Depot. So Barstow, as Dr. Bagg knows, has a deep part in my heart, my wife's heart. So Ted and I went out and had lunch at the Idle Spurs when it was open. And I remember we sat down and started talking about budgets and this, that, and the other. And we were having a budget problem here. We had a structural deficit of about $4 million a year. And Ted turned to me, and I'll never forget, and he pointed his finger, and he said, "Joe, we have a mandatory 15% reserve." I sat there and I go, whoa. So Ted was always kind of the guy that I reached out to when I needed help, and Fred, who I'm sad couldn't be here tonight. And so we started this relationship. And at that lunch, we said, why don't we figure out a way to get these two colleges to work together? One time, I guess if you go back in history, there was a community college planned somewhere out between Hodge Road and the next exit. I can't remember what that was. And I guess there was a battle between the Barstow area and what was called the Victor Valley area, and it didn't happen, so you've got the two schools. So Ted and I decided to kick this thing off, and we've had, I believe prior to COVID, we had 6 or 7 joint dinners and meetings. The first one we held at our new public safety facility in Apple Valley, and then we went back and forth. And then COVID came, and unfortunately, things stopped. About a year and a half ago, we thought we had a date picked, and with that. And it's been really fun, working with Paul Wilkie. I know Paul personally. I know him and his wife. They're great leaders within Barstow, and he's just a great leader within your board. So I want to have him give a couple comments about how we came together, and thank everybody for making this happen. This is not an easy thing to happen, and this is the first time that we've done this in here. We've just had our second board meeting in here, and at the right time, Dr. Walden will be able to talk a little bit about this great $40 million building that we just moved into.
Thank you, Board President Brady. At this time, would everyone please stand? We'll do the pledge to the flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We did not receive any notification for any public comment, so we'll move on with that. No announcements to make. At this time, I will like to publicly introduce the staff from Barstow Community College, and then I'll pass the microphone over to Trustee Brady. So here representing Barstow Community College, myself, board president. I was born and raised in Barstow. My grandfather taught high school in Barstow for 35 years and also adjunct at Barstow Community College, and just well entrenched in the community. And it was his service of community that kind of trickled down into my genes, and love to follow in those footsteps and continue service in the community. I have 4 children, 8 grandchildren, believe it or not, and most of them are still in the Barstow area. So we got a strong foothold there, and we like to be a part of making Barstow great. Vice President of the Board, Trustee Julie Hackbarth McIntyre. The name might sound familiar to you. She is an offshoot of the founders, a niece of the founder of Del Taco. Her father has spent many years running portions of the Del Taco organization from its founding, and she is past mayor of Barstow, and we miss her in that role. But we welcome her greatly to her role in Barstow Community College, and she's doing a fantastic job, and hopefully we'll be passing the baton for board president onto her in the future. Trustee Fernando Baca, again, Joe, thank you for your kind words to Trustee, in regards to Trustee Baca. He's long served Barstow Community College, over 27 years of service, and he was planning on stepping down and ending his role as trustee, and he got so excited, to his words, about what has been happening lately through Barstow Community College, the direction that we've been going. He wanted to stick around for another term. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but he sends his regards this evening. Also, Trustee Yolanda Miner. She's local Barstow, but she's traveled with the military, and she's a former judicial clerk for San Bernardino County, and long service there. She is also a black belt in judo, and so don't mess with her.
Bailey, be nice.
You will wake up with her standing on top of you. Also, Trustee John Gregg, he is a local radio personality, lived in Barstow for a long time, and has raised his kids in the community. He is also an aficionado of self-defense in other ways, so if you're looking for permits or ammunition, Trustee Gregg would be the person to talk to. Student Trustee Valerie Pamphil, she is new to Barstow Community College in her role as student trustee, but she is bringing a wealth of knowledge to that role, and it has her leadership at Barstow Community College has not been unnoticed by our current board. We're pretty excited about the direction that she's taking our student staff, and the enthusiasm that she has in her role has been unmatched from previous student trustees that we've seen come through Barstow Community College. So she's also traveled with the military, been in military service, 3 children.
Yeah.
Yep. Your oldest is
24.
24. So thank you, Valerie, in your role. Dr. Eva Bagg, Superintendent President, Barstow Community College. We're very excited about the direction that she has brought Barstow Community College in her role. She's a former faculty member from Barstow Community College, spent a stint down at Long Beach Community College before she came back up to Barstow Community College, and we're glad to have her on board with us. Her vision is unmatched as far as superintendent presidents go. She sees everyone in a role of possibility, and we appreciate that about her. Dr. Terry Long, interim vice president, academic affairs, and Dr. Oscar Espinoza Parra, vice president of student services, and Dee Dee Garcia, vice president of administrative services. Dee Dee is probably our longest serving VP in a role at Barstow Community College at this time. We've had such a turnover, but Dee Dee, her financial leadership and administrative skills has placed Barstow Community College in a very good position, and we appreciate the work that she does.
And she is well-known and well-liked here. Used to live like a mile away. You still live a mile away.
Glad to steal her from Victor Valley Community College. Dr. Jennifer Rodden, Dean of Instruction, Workforce, and Economic Development, and then our Executive Secretary, Michelle Henderson. She's been with Barstow Community College in a couple of different roles, but we are very proud of the role that she is in now, and I rely on her heavily in my role, in my leadership. She brings such wisdom and grace to the board and to Superintendent Bagg, so thank you.
I'm going to do something a little bit differently. So this was not rehearsed. I'd like to start with Brandon Wood. Who's vice president. He becomes president in December, and have him introduce himself. He's I think, the third longest serving trustee in the school's history. I think I'm the second. We just lost our longest one, Dennis Henderson. And maybe he could introduce and say something about Jennifer, who's not here, and then pass it down to Laura, and then to our student trustee, and then we'll turn it over to Dr. Walton so he can introduce his incredible team.
I think Joe just admitted that he has no idea who I am.
What did I say?
You made me introduce myself. I was gonna say, hey, make me sound as cool as he made all his people sound.
No, I'll tell you this. True story. We had a lot of problems here that everybody knew. It was in the daily press. And Brandon was one of about 15 community members that came to our college in 2013 and would sit out in the out where the seats were, and 15 leaders would point their fingers and tell us that we weren't doing our job right. And ultimately, when we had a slot to fill, he threw his hand up, and he's here, and he's a delight to work with. We've had some good disagreements, but we work really well, and I'm proud to work with him, and I look at him as a longtime friend.
So let me start with Jennifer. I've known Jennifer a long time. Jennifer has worked in the school system up in the front office. She was involved with HR. She worked at Oro Grande School District for a very long time. Small school district, so she did in one office, it was kind of everything: payroll, employee issues, calling subs, flying around the country recruiting people to come work at the school, all the HR things, all the payroll things. It was a lot, big job over there for her, but that's what she did for a long time. She's recently been recruited away to a medical company just up the street, also for HR. I think she likes it. It's been a transition for her. Not having to do everything from recruiting to training to sick days for people to payroll to the HR complaints and stuff. It's a much bigger company, so it's a whole lot more tailored what she does. It's been, she likes it, but it's a little hard to get used to not being responsible for everything. Jen came on the board. Now I'm showing off how well I don't know what Jen's been about four, no, more than four. She was appointed, came up for election, won, and this session she got a pass. Nobody ran against her, so it's like six. My third base coach is throwing up a 6 years. God, 6 years, really. I was taken back when you said I'm the third longest serving trustee here because that had never really clicked for me. Time flies. Yeah, I guess it is about 6 years Jen's been here. Been on the board about 6 years. Jen's a great member of the board. Last night she was really giving Joe a run for his money. If anybody knows Joe, really Laura and Jen, I texted him and said, I know you two were drinking in the girls' bathroom over there on the break because Joe couldn't tell the difference between their voices. They both sit on this side. And so every item on the agenda, Jen would make the motion and Laura would second. And then on the next one, Laura would make the motion and Jen would second. And he couldn't tell the difference between their voices, and it's just giving him fits. And they're just over there just dying laughing in the corner. And of course, we're looking over like, I know you two were drinking in the bathroom on the break. What is going on over there? But Jen's a lot of fun to have on the board. Hard work, dedicated to the students. She's always a very student first trustee. Does everything she can to attend events. So it's great to have her here. It's a little easier to talk about somebody else than yourself. For me, I'm the third longest serving trustee. I just found that out tonight. So that's cool. In the military for 8.5 years. Went to college while I was in the Navy. Didn't want to end up working with my bachelor's degree as a barista at Starbucks. Nothing against Starbucks, but didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. Realized my bachelor's wasn't quite as valuable as what I thought, and signed up and went to law school on my way out of the military. And for the last 22 years, I guess, maybe 22 years, I've had a law firm here in Victorville. So stays really busy. Super busy. Every time the legislature changes all the laws, we get to not only handle our current cases that we're handling, but we get do-overs on all the old cases. I was telling Eva just tonight, I was sitting up there, I got here an hour early, and I was sitting up there working on a case that's 15 years old that's going to be a do-over due to a change in the law. So that's fun, getting all the current work and the do-overs. So serving on the board has been a pleasure. Like Jen, like Joe, like Laura, we're all really student-centered, students first. And so everything we do, as Dan says, I'm stealing his catchphrase, that everything we do, you ask yourself first, how does this benefit students? And if it benefits students and it's doable, then you do it. And if it doesn't benefit students, then it's not worth doing. So we're all very student-centered, student-focused, and I think we do good work. We mess around a little bit. We talk a little crap back and forth here and there, and have a little fun, and it's a good time. We all get along and just get the job done. So we got a great team here.
Before Laura says anything, if anybody you know ever gets arrested, that's the guy to call. I'm serious. He'll get you out. Laura?
Good evening.
A couple months worth of billing, you know.
I'm Laura DeVerikis, and I might be the college's shortest time as trustee. I don't know. We're going to have to look at the record books. I was appointed in June, and I didn't secure my seat this time around in the election. But I'm so committed to this community and this college and the students. I think that the lives of people in this area are changed here. I see it in the faces of the people I've met, how passionate they are about making this community a fantastic place and a place where people stay and learn and work. And so no matter what, I'm committed. I'm committed to this community. And I think that just comes from being kind of born to enjoy serving. I was also in the military. in the Air Force, and that's where I met my husband. So I'm from here. I was born and raised in Phelan and then Victorville for a time, and he's from Worcester, Massachusetts. And so we always say we met in the middle in Texas. And so we met in Texas, and we've been married almost 15 years. He retired in 22 after 23 years. He was one of those kids whose parents have to sign the paperwork to go to basic training because they're 17, and he just knew what he wanted, and he's fantastic. And I said, when you retire, let's go back to where I grew up, and he just went along with it. So we've been back for a few years. I was also an educator. I taught elementary school, well, third through sixth grade, so a little bit of middle school as well, kind of wherever my husband was stationed. And then now I'm a business owner. I've owned a travel agency for almost 8 years, and I own a preschool. It's a 62 child preschool in Apple Valley called Apple Valley Child Care Center. It's been in business since 1990, and so it's kind of a staple in Apple Valley. And so I'm really I'm blessed to have the opportunity to own a business up here in the high desert, and just raise my son here. And yeah, let's see, anything else? Am I missing anything? I don't think so. Come say hi if you have a question. Nice to meet everyone.
Great student trustee.
Hello, everyone. I'm BBC student trustee. However, I also sit as the associate student body president. Um, let's see a little bit about me. I am majoring in psychology and criminal justice, hoping to go through the path of behavior analysis. However, I've also been looking into different pathways that includes communications. This has been a new idea that's been brought into my mind because I've grown up on this campus for, let's say, 20 years. I have I have family connection here. I also have a lot of internal connections since I grew up with ASB government over the past years. My advisor, who's sitting over there, and the lovely woman who is a VVC graduate but also works at Barstow Community College, Deanna. They were two of the people that helped raise me, along with Tim Isbell, that's doing the tech for us. So they've been a big part and a big support in my life. And recently, communications has been that thing since my advisor is the PIO for the college um, and the marketing director. So I've been learning a lot, and it's been really fascinating to me. And I'm hoping to still be a part of this community no matter where I go, and a part of this college, because this college is the fastest growing community college in the state of California. And I'm so proud of how far we've come. And I'm so proud of the people that we have on this campus. And I can't wait to see how far we grow. Thank you.
With that, I'm proud to introduce Dr. Daniel Walton. Dr. Walton has been with us since January 1st of 2019. An incredible leader. We just extended his contract by 4 years, and he's going to give some great stats about how we're the fastest growing college in California, and he's just got a great team. So, Dr. Wall, if you'll introduce your team, then afterwards we're going to turn it over to Dr. Bagg.
Yes, welcome everybody to Victor Valley College, and I love to sit here by well, she calls me her big brother, so this is my little sister here, Eva Bagg. We get along really well, and love her, love working with her, and we've just had a great time. So the reason I know that Jennifer Tarpley has been trustee for 6 years because she and I started at the same time. And after next month, I will have been here 6 years. And so, wow, it went fast. And I might be the longest serving president here. That's a very sad thing to think about. But for sure, if I stay another 4, then I guess I will be. But anyway, we're really glad for all of you to be here. I have to say tonight, we appreciate so much our restaurant management putting on this wonderful feast tonight. Let's give them a hand. They're incredible, and Joe bribes them, so that's why it's going to be so good tonight. He loves their restaurant management program. Anytime he gets to eat here, he'll do it. So tonight, here we have here, let's see, to my right is my executive vice president, of instruction, innovation, and student success. And he actually serves, and I tell everybody, this is my chief of staff, Dr. Todd Scott, right there. And then I have an associate vice president of instruction right over there. That's Dr. Mackenzie Tarango. And she is very bossy and gets stuff done. And if you know her, she's a mover shaker. We really appreciate her work here. And then right here, brand new beside Dee Dee, is Dr. Eric uh, Riemann. And we stole him from K-12 to be our new Vice President of Admin Services. So we're excited about that. And then I have my Vice President of Student Services, or what I say, Admin Services here, Student Services over there, Vice President Lopez. So we appreciate all these being here. We put you with your counterparts. You know, that was our effort here tonight. Then I have a Dean of Public Safety and Industrial Technology, Dr. Rick Radcliffe, and beside him is one of our foundation employees and is in charge of this building, is one of his things, and renting all of our facilities to any outside entity is, I call him our ringmaster in resident here at Victor Valley, and that's Chris Nunez. And then, of course, you know, the victory team, none of us get anything done without these people. And one of them is my senior executive assistant over there, Stephanie Schrum. And then next to her is executive assistant Haley Teeter. And somebody who just absolutely makes every meeting work is this guy back here, Tim Isbell. So that's our group that's here tonight. I didn't miss anyone, did I?
Robert
Okay.
Sewell.
Robert? He is a member of the public here tonight.
But a VIP.
He is our PIO and our ASB advisor. Robert is Mr. I just did his evaluation. I haven't shared that with you, have I? No, well, it came out pretty good. But anyway, we did a 360 on him this year, so we sent out surveys and all that, and several of them got that experience. It was really interesting for me to see the results. But anyway, somebody labeled him Mr. VVC.
Yep.
And I thought that's a good label. I even put that in your evaluation, Robert. So
Dee
that
Dee, would you
went in your
agree?
favor. So many more here visiting from the public, but we'll toss it back over to our presidents. Both of us have presentations after you eat, when we'd like to eat too. So I think dinner's coming up pretty soon isn't that different? No, Eva. Dr. Eva Bagg, you're next. Sorry.
Introductions, no problem. I was just going to say thank you, Big Brother, for handing that over.
That's all right.
No, and thank you all for having us here. I just, it strikes me when we talk about the introductions, the people here, that there's been so many overlap of people dedicated to really the high desert and students and community in the high desert. I know that I was first introduced to Victor Valley College when I was teaching at Barstow College. The Academic Senate president at the time, Gloria Henderson, taught, and I met Trustee Dennis Henderson through Gloria. So I was learning about Victor Valley College and learning how to be a faculty member, and that's been, I don't know, over 20 years. And coming back to the high desert from Long Beach, it's just been so welcoming. Joe, you've been so amazing in terms of sharing information about what's going on, not only at the college, but just the community and economic development, introducing me and staff to, potential business partners. And that's just been so helpful. And as Dan has said, we help each other. It's just a blessing that it's all about the students. We know that we have students at Barstow College that go to Victor Valley at Barstow. And the point is, we have different specialties and we share and we don't compete. maybe a little bit here and there, but you know, it's a healthy competition.
Yeah.
But seriously, actually,
Big
Dan,
brothers, big brother's never going to lose. You know that.
yeah, actually,
He'll be protective, but that's
yeah. This afternoon, though, Dan and I, we had a brief call about an opportunity to help students that really were, in terms of boundaries, district boundaries, we're respectful of those, but whenever we can help one another, that's what we do. And for me, that's really the purpose of this meeting. And it's an honor to have our boards of trustees also dedicated to helping students. That's what it's all about. And I'm really looking forward to some learning more about what you're doing, and we can share what we're doing. And I think mostly finding opportunities where we can do more just to help our students and help our community. And, you know, I would like to just take a moment to also thank Victor Valley College. I don't know if it was maybe a couple of years ago, but you were so kind in honoring Trustee Tim Hayden with his passing, and I really appreciate that. And I know honoring Dr. Baca and Trustee Fred Baca, he was planning to come tonight, and he sends his regrets that he couldn't make it tonight. But I would also like to say it was really nice to hear again talking about the connections between colleges. I didn't know that your student trustee, the way she acknowledged Deanna Sanabria, who is here, and I'm not surprised to hear, Deanna, what you've, the impact that you've made. So thanks for being here. And also in the audience, I would like to introduce Sonia Compton Ray, who is going to be seated as a new trustee at Barstow College in December. And I appreciate you coming, Sonia. And also we even have a, thank you. And we have a faculty member, vice president of our union, a professor who teaches here, and I understand her husband teaches her here as well. This is Ashley Visnor, a professor of chemistry, joined to be part of that. So thank you for joining us. And I would also just like to thank again, the food's great, and hopefully everybody's enjoying it. And I'm not sure if we pass it off at this point.
Well, I
Back
think
to
this
you,
is
we'll
where
just
we
eat. We can
set
just,
aside for dinner. We thought maybe 15 minutes where you could
That's fine.
get to know
Eat
your
with them.
neighbor and enjoy your food.
And for those that have a seat here, you can see the football game, the practice going on out there. Yeah, so it's distracting. Practicing is all you can see. It makes it's big.
At Dodger Stadium.
Yeah. Then when you step down, December, right? Wasn't it?
Well, I'm encouraging the other trustees to get different roles, experience different roles. So 4 years, board president. Yeah, she's the one that's most ready. Probably more ready than me. So, yeah, that's.
Who do you think?
I don't know. See how he does. Busy. I want to see her role of vice president. Honestly, the board president's doing their job and they're on duty. The role of vice president is just a rubber stamp being there. Missing much. And we're in a time with the city. I think she will carry more weight for the board, just with her name, recognition, experience. So I think it'll be good for our college.
But what's the sense of
I know the Rosenbergs aren't happy, obviously, but, you know,
Are they bitching?
no, they put that new putting that new Tesla center in, right there. So, which Barstow in East Main Street, right there, is dying. When they built that Marriott out at Linwood Road, that pulled all the contractors that were staying in those local hotels that right there by the 15 in Main on East Main Street. Yep, Quality Inn. So Domingos is going down.
Really?
Yeah, just as far as revenue and attendance, because all of those contractors that were keeping occupancy rates up at those motels, up in the 80%. Now they're down in the 30-40%. They're hoping to hit some decent numbers through holiday, but right now, it's that pull from Linwood Road is too strong for the out of town contractors, military and stuff like that that are out there. So.
Yeah, thanks. You're the guy that owns the Marriott. I wouldn't even call this scumbag. Not a good guy.
Oh.
He's Bobby Vitelli. Very unethical.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And my son does not care for chocolate. And he knows it's chocolate. I'm not a big fan of that. No thanks. And I was like, mommy is a big fan. But mommy likes chocolate. Like, it's not chocolate. Like, I just, and that's why I tell him, because like I always make, like, always has to have. And I always say, because like, I might not be a big fan. But you are a big fan of it. So,
Nothing's
that's
gonna
where
help.
he got
You
the.
got to take charge.
Which I'm grateful for. Usually it's on.
Some people like to see the flag. My mom.
Fresh into
Or my dad went out.
college, so it's just, I was just like, wow, I want to be that person that uplifts that student.
I used to like going out with her husband. There was a gang of four. Yeah. Go to house meeting. Those guys are always up first. Just go bitch. Someone's on TV. I've always said, people like going to
It's a whole nother animal.
yeah, yeah, no, I get it. Well, one, because they're having fun. She and the running.
Yeah, what do you, if you're allowed to actually choose. Oh, okay, so making sure everything was neat and sweet.
That's good to hear. Somebody else. I did a couple here.
Hey,
We believe in education. Without it, you've got problems. In here.
not yet. It's not like not forced.
So last night, they said something came about housing deal. And I said, we speed this thing up. I said, I'm not gonna get all. Oh no, this is. So we've done one stop.
Knock me out.
I've been here for 5 buildings so far. I think numbers. So by the time, hopefully, I'm like 9. Ready? Mr. President, we're ready.
All right. So each college is doing a couple of presentations. So each of the presidents is doing one first. And where is Tim or Deanne? Can y'all put up my presentation?
Interesting. Never done that.
So I apologize for those of you right at the screen. You're going to crane your neck to look around, but feel free to move and sit in the back if you want. All right. So one of the things that Victor Valley College is really proud of is in the last couple of years, we were able to move to being a middle-sized college. So the chancellor's office classifies you small, middle, large. And the points are, the spread is quite large. So if you're less than 10,000 FTES, you're a small college. If you're between 10,000 and 20,000, you're a middle-sized college, and if you're a large college, then you're over 20,000. The nice thing about the middle-sized college is we get an extra $2.4 million a year just for that. So we appreciate that. Didn't have to do anything for it other than grow. It's just based on that we're over 10,000 now. And this last year, 23-24, we served almost 25,000 students annually in the annual year. That's an unduplicated student head count, summer through spring. And you can see we had 12,052 FTS, which is up 16% from the year before. That also is because it actually would have been 700 higher, but we ended up in the recalc moving 700 of our FTES into the 24-25 year. And the reason we did that is I know that you guys have unfunded FTES, so do we. We were going to have 1,700 unfunded, but by moving the 700 over, maybe that's just delaying inevitability. I don't know. We'll see next year, but that leaves us with 1,000 unfunded for this year, and they're still going to spread the love on this, because I think there's about $26 million in the growth in the state, so they'll spread that among the colleges. So we'll all get a little bit more, probably in around February, if you're like us or Barstow, which is have the unfunded FTES. And we're up this year over previous year, another 4%. Next slide. And then this was an economic study that we did. Now this one is county-wide. And we have another one going on right now that is just the high desert. So I'll make sure that I share that with Dr. Bagg, because then you can kind of see, in the high desert what's going on. Now this is just looking at Victor Valley's number, but for us, our total annual impact on the county is $553.1 million, and we generate 6,081 jobs. And up in the top right corner, you can see that for every dollar that the student spends, they get a return on their investment of $19.50 per dollar per year for the rest of their life. And then for the taxpayer, for every dollar they spend, they get back $1.50, and society as a whole gets back $10.80 for every dollar spent on our students. So we're real proud of that. I'm not going to go through all the things that's on that slide, but you get the point. Next slide. And one of the things we're really proud of here, in fact, we were just featured in a national article for this. We have a call center. We call it Connect to Success, and it's in its third year. This last year, they answered 118,087 calls. Now, these people are not call center people. They are student service specialists by classification, and they're qualified and trained to handle all Tier 1 issues. They have a first caller resolution rate of 90% for the last 3 years. 3 years in a row, 90% of the callers, first call, they get a call resolution. And that's just fantastic. We have a caller satisfaction survey we do with all of our people that call in. And I mean, this is a sophisticated thing we got going on here. We got it started with HERF funds, and then we moved it into the general budget when it became such a valuable thing for us. I had a company come in and do a shopping on us for a phone, and they came back and said, nobody's answering the phone. If they do, they transfer you somewhere where they don't answer the phone. And if they do answer the phone where they transfer you, they tell you, just go look on the website. So it was not really good customer service. So I don't know any other college doing this, but we've made the investment. We had to give up some things to do this, other things that we had, but it was mostly boutique things that we were spending a lot of money on. And this way, a caller calls and they get an actual live person, whether the public or whoever. Sometimes they, if the call wait is too long, you always have an option they'll call you back. within just a few minutes rather than just wait in line. So we love it. And we just actually, we got placed out of nationwide. We submitted an application and we're in the top 10 finalists for innovation for this call center. And so Dr. Scott over here and myself and the two supervisors are going to be going to San Antonio in February, where we're going to be in a national competition with the other 9 finalists. And we have 1 hour to impress the judges to come back with a first prize win. So that's our goal. We're going to win first prize for this, the Bellwether Award. Next slide.
Matthew McConaughey is going to be putting me up there.
Todd gets accused of being Matthew McConaughey. That's just too much for his ego. But ask him if he can do all right. So we're proud of our CCAP dual enrollment program with the high schools. We are in, I believe, 27 high schools with CCAP. We are the 5th largest in the state of California. And you can see there we have about 1,926 headcount students this year, 5,264 enrollments. The thing we're most proud of, though, we have retention rate in these high school dual enrolled classes of 97%, with successful course completion of 87%. And that beats our campus all to death. I mean, we're not even close to the rest of the campus. So we're very proud of that. All right, next slide. And then here is our articulation with the high schools. So we have a lot of courses that are articulated with our high schools. They do have to sign a disclaimer that we do not guarantee that these courses will transfer. Many of them do, some do not. It just depends on the institution that they're trying to transfer them to. But that is kind of broken down by schools there, but I'll just say the total out of all the enrollments we gave out, that's 16% or 18%? What is that? 16% of them received grades, 4,073 grades that we issued this last year. Did I say that right, Mackenzie? Or correct it? Correct me if I'm wrong. You won't be in trouble.
Just nod your head.
16% of all high school students in our region receive college credit through articulation.
All right, that. She knows more than I do. I'm not the smartest person in the room. I admit it. I just get smart people to work for me. Okay, next slide. And then this is our high school class of 2024. I'm going to give you 2 stats here, one that's not on the slide. The last 3 years of these this last year was 6,751 graduates. But out of all the graduates, out of the 37 high schools that we have in our region, in our service area, 3 years in a row, we have captured 40% of those students. What this stat is telling you that 79% of the students that were seniors, 5,305 of them, filled out applications to BBC this last year in the spring, and then came this fall. Right now, they're here. And so that's 48% of the applicants that we captured. And the other thing I want to say about this group, about 58% of them are full-time. And that's just something we're very proud of. So just bragging a little bit if you let us. Okay, next. And then we have our student engagement centers. So we have the one stop where the students go and they get matriculated into the college. The building beside that we call our second stop. And in there is all of our tutoring and support services. And we have 4 engagement centers in there around the 4 different schools in the college. So we have business law and academic resources, which is BLAR, blah, blah, blah. And then we have HOS, Get Up and Go, which is humanities, arts, and social sciences. And then this other one is just public safety, industrial technology. And then we have STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So 6,510. This is the second year that we're starting on this, but last year 6,510 visits were made to this center, 2,116 unduplicated students. Each of these engagement centers is staffed with a program manager, a part-time counselor, a faculty facilitator, and 5 peer mentors. And Todd, did we move that to the general fund, or is it still SIA?
General.
Wow, okay. I don't know how we pulled that off, but we did.
Some of it's general, some of it's SIA.
Okay, now the truth comes out. So some SIA, some general. All right. And then we have student success workshops in there, career speaker series, student clubs, transfer events, and it's just the second stop, the place where students go to make sure that they get through. And we're very proud of our engagement centers. And I think that's the last slide. Is it? It is. Thank you very much. Dr. Beck.
Very impressive. And we did read the article about your Connect to Success. Really wonderful work. Congratulations on that. So, as Dr. Walden said, Barstow College has also been growing. We're fortunate. There's growth in the high desert, and we're also we've experienced unfunded FTES, which is not a bad thing. So we're about 170 unfunded FTES, and just for comparison, Barstow College is about a fourth of the size of Victor Valley College. So we're also strong in our enrollments again this fall, so it's good for all of us, and we hope to be able to share a little bit of that unfunded FTS, and we'll see what happens in February. We'll share, exactly. So I think for me, I really just want to highlight some of our employee updates. It's the heart, the core of what we do is the people that we hire, and I just want to let everybody know, unfortunately, we have a new member of our team who wasn't able to attend tonight, but she is the Executive Dean of Strategic Partnerships and Workforce Development. Her name is Dr. Laura Alvarado. She is from Chaffey College. Some of you may know her. She, I think, is really well known for establishing the InTech Center in Fontana. So we're very excited. We know that Barstow is poised for a lot of growth with the railway and other opportunities. So we're really working hard, and the board actually supported that position as a new position a couple of years ago in anticipation of the expansion of workforce development. And many of you know, I know Dr. Scott, you know Jennifer Rodden, but she was overseeing CTE for a while as Vice President of Academic Affairs and just fell in love with the work and the faculty and feels like she's really found a niche and really wants to focus on career technical education. So that's a new role. And we have Dr. Terry Long as our Interim Vice President of Academic Affairs. We also have a new Vice President of Human Resources. You may recognize the name, Rocio Chavez. She started about a month or so ago. We're really happy to have her join us. We just hired a new Director of Student Life and Conduct, Javier Mulatto. We're also really supportive of dual enrollment. We just hired a Director of Career and College Access, Janae Rodriguez Hayward, working under Dr. Oscar Espinoza Parra. We haven't hired as many new faculty as you have. We're a smaller school, but we're very proud to have hired a new professor of physics and astronomy, Antonio Garcia Vallejo, and he will be in time reopening our little observatory on campus. But we've outfitted a new physics lab, and really I think that our college STEM is really becoming more pronounced in one of the areas where we're growing a large bit of our enrollment. We're very proud also, we've got a really dynamic math faculty, and last month we had one of our professors, Dr. Peter Esperanza. He presented in Manila at a conference, an international conference for mixed reality in education, and basically we invested in virtual reality for a forklift class where students can simulate a forklift. But I think what was more innovative was using virtual reality for statistics, where you can visualize in space sort of the distribution of whatever it is that you're looking at in statistics. So we were very proud of him presenting in Manila last week. Other highlights for our college, one of the big things is we were awarded a grant, an Inland Empire Regional K-16 Education Collaborative Grant, really under the leadership of Dr. Rodden. We are partnering with our high school, Barstow Unified and Baker Unified, and with Cal State San Bernardino and Cal State Dominguez Hills, and it's really a focus on education, and it's really to address the shortage of teachers. Particularly in Barstow. So we're calling it our Grow Your Own Teachers. So that's something that we're just starting, and we hope that we'll really be able to address the specific needs of teachers today. It's more challenging than ever before, so it's a unique opportunity to create the curriculum that really addresses those needs. So it's a 2-year, $1 million grant. Hopefully we can talk a bit more about another program that we're excited about under our High Road Training Partnership Grant. We are working on, again, Dr. Rodden is working on a not-for-credit CNA program under that grant. And we're working with Victor Valley College. And I don't know, Dr. Rodden, you've really been looking at opportunities to support what Victor Valley College is doing with regard to your nursing program, and have recognized an opportunity to benefit our students in CNA potentially, and moving into Victor Valley's program. And I'd like to give you the opportunity to say a couple words, because you're really kind of you've been watching the data and keeping track of the individuals, students. So I'd like to welcome you to say a few words.
Well, I wasn't planning on saying anything, but
Just
I really need to give a lot of credit to Todd Scott. We started with just some communication during our Region 9 meetings, and through email, just about what we were planning on doing, and really looking at our pre-allied health degree. We have a local degree we have a lot of students declaring that major, and what we noticed when we looked at the data a little bit more deeply is that a lot of our students are coming to VVC and applying to the nursing program. So in looking at that, and then also in looking at this not-for-credit CNA, we recognize that we could help you all out. So by reaching out to students who were unable to get into the nursing program here at VVC, the CNA program here at VVC, not because they're not qualified, but because you only have so much room. And so, Todd helped me connect with Lorena and Nicole here at VVC, nursing counselors, and CNA director, to be able to make that happen. And so they've been fabulous. I'm trying to give them shout outs every time I'm in a regional meeting, because they reached out to the students. They shared their lists of students who, did not make it into the program, so we could actually reach out to them. And so I think it's a great partnership, and we're really happy that it has happened.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dr. Rodden. Thank you, Dr. Scott. And that's exactly the kind of thing that we're always looking for, opportunities to be able to help one another and help our students. So thank you, Dr. Rodden, for sharing that. Other things that we're working on with our High Road Training Partnership Grant: feasibility studies for water treatment, feasibility studies for a drug and alcohol studies program, and a wellness coach program. So that will hopefully be in development based on our studies. Another thing that we're really excited about, is very important to us in Barstow because of our long-time relationship with Fort Irwin, the military and veterans. We have the Barstow Veterans Home that's really just above the college. We are in collaboration with U.S. Military Veterans Electrical Entry Program. A gentleman from Fort Irwin has met with us at the college, and they're looking at an apprenticeship program, and they're wanting to establish a site at the Barstow campus. Largely with economic development, the growth, if the BNSF big project happens, which I think we expected it will, even if it didn't, the economic growth and development, the infrastructure is going to require a lot of tradesmen, electrical, plumbing, and others, but we're starting with an electrical program. A team of us went to a facility in San Bernardino last week or so, and we're just scoping out the needs and really hope that not only will this be a great benefit to our veterans, and it's veterans who have been veterans up to 5 years. Typically, the military works with in supporting them for just a certain period of time, but this provides an opportunity to attract veterans from all over the country to come, and they can, they can stay in this area or not. But the idea is that they will learn a trade and become electricians and support not only the big project, Brightline. Um, they're partnering with the International Electrical Brotherhood Union, so there's going to be placements in jobs right away. So that's something that we really want to support, and and we're hoping that it'll expand from electrical, hopefully into plumbing and other trades opportunities. We're also looking forward to a new program with the Marine Corps Logistics Base in Barstow as well. So we recently visited the Marine Depot Maintenance Command. It's really an amazing facility, and they've invited us to have some of our students participate in a pilot intern program for students who are taking welding, industrial maintenance, and electrical courses. So this will be a really good opportunity for them to learn at that depot. I think we mentioned we have a new director of career and college access as we're developing our dual enrollment program. We've just about doubled the size of our dual enrolled students, and we plan to continue to do that. And I think the other thing that's been really great for Barstow sort of enlivening our campus is we now have the farmers market that I think you all used to have for for reasons that I think you were unable to have. But Carrie Santoro has been wonderful. So we're getting to enjoy every Tuesday the farmers market, and they'll be coming to the Barstow campus through March. The other nice thing that I know that Dee Dee and Deanna have been really happy to do over the last few years. I know when your gym was flooded, we were really happy to host your basketball team, and I think recently you've got issues with the baseball team, so they're practicing at the Barstow campus. So,
Thank you very much.
and we're very happy to help. So those are highlights from Barstow Community College. Thank you.
So there were some things that Barstow asked for Victor Valley to address. So we're going to move into that section right now. And Mackenzie.
Ken, would you mind putting the presentation back up?
Brandon, I'm going to take care of your cream.
All right, next slide. Oh,
All this
you got a
talk
clicker?
of sharing
thank
and
you.
everything.
Thank you. Let's see, where do we? Okay, so I wanted to just start by giving you the overarching view of the instructional capacity we have here at Victor Valley College. So as Dr. Walden mentioned, we are broken into 4 different schools. We have the School of Business, Law, and Academic Resources, BLAR. We have Humanities, Arts, and Social Science, HAWS. We have the School of Public Safety and Industrial Technology, PSIT, and the School of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, STEM. And across those 4 schools, we host host 83 different disciplines. And across those 83 disciplines, we host 1,214 courses. Those courses combined create 38 associate degrees and 25 associate degree for transfer. We have 96 certificates for credit certificates, and we also have, 29 non-credit certificates. So our instruction is really focused in not only those 4 schools, or it's held in those 4 schools, but we also have a division called workforce development. And we house our community and contract ed, our workforce development, our apprenticeships, our internships, our justice involved education, as well as our employer engagement manager from the IEDRC, which is a regional position that we host. That's all in our workforce development division, which is really more focused on alternative methods of education outside of traditional. We were asked to share the closer look at our non-credit programs. So as you'll see here, our growth and focus on providing additional non-credit programs has really taken off since 2022. Before 2022, we had 3 non-credit programs: our adult home economics, our adult music, and our basic skills programs. Since 2022, we've actually launched 7 new non-credit programs: our commercial driver's license program, which we'll talk a little bit more about soon; our cosmetology program; emergency medical certification, which is your like CPR and stop the bleed; our emergency telecommunications, which prepares people to become 911 operators; our GED prep, which goes right hand in hand with our new Pearson View testing center that we launched, so that you can take your GED testing here; our low voltage, which is your fiber optics and your alarm systems; and then we're also have our manufacturing and logistics, which is our forklift program. And if you hadn't heard, our forklift program really developed from a grant that Dr. Scott had us apply for with Metallica. So Metallica, the rock band. And so these are Metallica scholars at our program, learning on 7 different forklifts, and getting certified. But we didn't stop there. We are actually actively pursuing 12 additional non-credit programs. One is in athletics, but it's esports. We are working on our community health worker in English and in Spanish. So we did secure a grant to offer a allied health program in Spanish purely. So we are working on launching that for community health worker, and should be going next term. We also have community mental health worker, court reporter, environmental technologies, which is like your water certificates, heavy equipment service, industrial maintenance, medical assisting. Medical assisting has asterisk next to it because we currently have that in credit. We're just trying to transfer it also now into non-credit, and that will also be one of our bilingual programs that we'll be offering. Notary, pharmacy tech, phlebotomy, and workforce preparation. And those are the ones that are actively in progress. Like, we're writing the curriculum, we've hired the instructors, we're identifying the space. We still have quite a few more programs that are in the research stage, where we're identifying, is this something that our students need? Is this good for the community? Do we have the financial and facilities capacity to move forward with these? So one of the programs that you asked to hear about tonight was our commercial driver's license program, which we launched shortly, maybe into 2022. We launched it with 2 trucks, and we launched it in the middle of the crisis where you couldn't order anything. All trucks and vehicles were on backlog. You couldn't actually buy a brand new semi truck when we launched this program. We had to buy trucks that were old with 500,000 miles on them. But luckily, soon after, we were able to acquire more. Our fleet is now up to 6 vehicles. We have 4 manual, 2 automatic, and that's important because if you didn't know, that if you're not training and doing your time on the manual and taking your test in manual, you actually aren't licensed to drive manual. So we made sure that we are when they walk out of our program that the doors are open for whatever opportunity industry has for them. 5 of them are diesel, and our one that's soon to be delivered is actually electric. And that's because if you didn't know, California's rules are changing, and pretty soon the standard vehicles are not going to be allowed, but specifically in semi trucks, and we're going to be limited to hybrid and electric. So we are getting a jump start on that, and our electric vehicle, our electric semi is on its way. 4 of them have the sleeper cab. 1 of them's a day cab. We have 3 van trailers, and so that's like the big box on the back, and then we have 2 flatbeds. So you'll see that we have a variety of different vehicles to mimic what they may or may not experience in industry. So the variety is intentional. When we so what is the program that you've got to hear all kinds of great things about the trucks that they're in, but what is the program look like? Well, we offer 3 different certificates, but the primary certificate where they get to they come in, they do their orientation, their preparation, and then they move into their permit preparation. They move to range operations and road skills as a 4 class program, and start to finish. At the conclusion of that, you should be taking your CDL test at the DMV. I was going to say local DMV, but actually it's not a local DMV. You either got to go to Lancaster or you have to go to Fontana, and that's why people see our trucks on the freeway all the time. Because we actually, even though it's outside of the class, we allow the students to use our vehicles, and we take them down to test. And some of them have got to test at least 3 times, but we do allow them multiple attempts to go. It is a new program, so we are learning. When we first started, we had about a 40% pass rate at the DMV, but that pass rate is up to just about 70% now. So as we continue to learn, we see that is reflected in our data. In the class, in orientation and preparation, that's where we really get them, you got to get your drug test, you got to get your paperwork in, you have to file for your permit so that you could get behind the wheel. Then they go out into the range. And as you know, in CTE, we're always trying to create environments that mimic industry, right? So that they're getting real life experience. But with our range, you have to use what you have, and we have a bunch of sand out by the Mojave River, and that's where they drive on, is a bunch of sand. But we're super excited to announce that that Dr. Walden and the board are working hard to give us access so that our students could actually train on something that is similar to the road before we leash them into the world. And that picture that kind of looks complicated up there is a $1 million range facility that we are in the process of hopefully developing soon. It will be over by our solar, behind our maintenance and operations, just outside, over there. By our solar field and behind our M&O, and we will be putting concrete down there and lights. So it does 2 things. One, it allows them to actually practice on something similar to what they're going to be driving on, not the Mojave River sand. And then it also is going to be lighted, and what that allows us to do is to offer additional classes. Right now, we're limited by the day, we're limited by the trucks, but now with that lighting, we'll be able to extend our course offerings deeper into the evening. And we have 2 additional certificates that the students are able to get upon that. They have the hazardous materials endorsement and then the passenger endorsement. If you don't know what the passenger endorsement is, that's basically any kind of driver who's beyond an Uber. So if you're going to drive a bus, whether it's Victor Valley Transit Authority or a school bus, that's the passenger endorsement for that. It takes between 6 to 9 weeks to complete the program. And the differentiation is just when does the cohort start, right? Are we going to fall into spring break? Is it, we're starting a cohort in summer, but there's a little break before you can complete it in fall. But on average, 6 to 9 weeks. It is a costly program, and we don't break even. This is one of those things where we've decided as a college that this is what's best for our community and best for our students. And but it is costly. It also has a lot of manpower because you can't use your good old-fashioned English or math 1 to 30, 35, 40 ratio. Sometimes in our range operations and our road, when we send them out onto the road, you could imagine that we're down to whatever fits in the sleeper cab, which is usually about 5 students to 1 instructor, and that's pretty tight. But on out here, in order to get more students through the range, and also to make sure that we're sending someone down them to test and we're not utilizing our instructors, we actually employ quite a few professional experts to support our CDL program. The CDL program non-credit, as you may or may not know, is generally associated with no fees. But that's no like tuition type fees. There are still student material fees. And we've been able to get a grant, the RERP grant, and that has covered the cost of all of our students' drug tests because they do have to take and pass a drug test before they qualify for the California permit. We've also utilized that to secure a part-time counselor who's dedicated to our CDL program. And we are so thankful for that grant because, I don't know the cost if we didn't utilize it to supplement the fuel. And that's not to mention when we get our fuel stolen from time to time from looters. But all in all, I shared that to say it is worth it. We had over 140 students go through the program in spring last year alone, of which close to 70% of them walked out with a driver's license, and the average income is at 6 figures walking brand new into this industry. And we also know that it's a underserved industry in our region, and so it's really costly, but it's really worth the effort. It's changing lives, and it's changing our community, and it's sort of supporting our local business. With that, I want to pause there and ask if you have any questions specifically about our CDL program. Yes.
So on your new facility, how will that handle like the hostlers? What I mean by that is the people like Amazon, they don't drive on the road. They bring the trailers on, they move them, they unload them, they get them back out. Same thing with BNSFF. They're going to have a lot of hostlers that they never leave the yard, but they've got to be able to drive. Is that facility going to facilitate that?
Actually, the design, Dr. Radcliffe had brought that up when we had our designers here, and he made sure that one left corner of that was dedicated for those types of routes. But I'll allow you if you wanted to add to that, Dr. Radcliffe.
So in our area, we're not hearing demand from our employers for hostler training specifically. But what they know is that if they go through our program and earn their CDL, that is what we've been hearing is really important. What has come to me up to this point is that many of the employers are willing to train hostler drivers on their own because there's no federal requirement. They're not leaving the property. But whether you're talking about any of your larger distribution companies, Amazon has 4 or 5 warehouses in our area. And where they have their critical need is not hostler drivers within the facility, it's moving one thing down the road 2 miles. That requires a licensed driver, which requires an entry-level driver training program. That's the federal requirement. And so they have to go through an approved program to get their license to be able to do that. We can take any of our drivers that are licensed Class A drivers and put them in a hostler, but you can't go the other way. So if that answers your question, yes, we can handle hostler drivers as well.
Okay. Well, if you think of a question, let me know. Otherwise, we will move on. Before we jump into the next agenda item, which was the fire training program, I was also told that you wanted to discuss, and I think you touched on it just a little bit, Dr. Baggs, about the allied health collaboration. I believe you spoke about the CNA program. So just to let you share a little bit about our CNA program. We were at capacity and turning folks away. What we learned once we dug into that, because there was such a high demand for CNA students, is that we weren't licensed to offer more than one class. So if you don't know, the California, in order for every class that you offer for CNA, you have to get licensed through the California Department of Health. And our license only allowed us to offer one class. And it has to be, when you file for your license, it has to be by term. And it's a 2-year granting, if you will, of that license. So we have submitted our request. We will be increasing it to 2. We anticipate that it will start as early as spring. However, worst case scenario, we're looking at fall to moving our CNA program to 2 classes. With that, we're also exploring the idea of launching it or rebuilding it as non-credit, so that we can offer it mirrored. We can offer credit and non-credit courses. As I touched on it before, non-credit is helpful for folks who aren't qualifying for financial aid, who don't have the money to pay for the experience and the training. And so we are currently building our medical assisting and our CNA program in both. We have it in credit, but we're building it in non-credit as well. So how can I help, or what questions can we answer about allied health?
I think Paul had.
That was one of the areas that that we were curious about and wanting to know if some of that educational opportunities, the lower classes, we can facilitate and help funnel students into your program. Further thinking out, a couple years ago, I had a conversation with President Brady about the state offering bachelor programs to community colleges, and I was thinking that that would be such a great opportunity for Victor Valley Community College to look into that for nursing. And if you guys haven't explored that, you know, maybe that would be a direction that you guys would be thinking about going into. Haven't heard anything back, and looking into this and exploring opportunities, hearing what our VPs are looking into, I thought that might be one area that we could have a discussion about. It's to see if that was on Victor Valley College's radar at all. I know things kind of got squashed at the state level, thanks to our governor, but I still think that that is quite a possibility, considering the proximity to the nearest nursing bachelor's program as far as mileage goes, and the population in the entire high desert area. So, yeah, highlighting that what you guys are doing here is helping my understanding out. So not that I want to push you guys in any direction at all. But.
No, I think great minds think alike. We would love to have a bachelor's degree in nursing. Right now, it's not an allowable bachelor's degree choice for a community college, but to your point, there was a lot of movement with the legislation. So I do anticipate that probably be an option coming. With that being said, are approved to have a bachelor's degree in respiratory therapy. And we have every intent of launching it in spring of 2025, so right around the corner. However, we have ran into a few speed bumps that weren't anticipated with financial aid. We want to make sure that when we open this bachelor's degree to our students, that they fully qualify for financial aid. So some of that paperwork has taken us a little longer than anticipated, but we're working on it every day, and we still haven't given up hope yet that we may be launching respiratory therapy bachelor's degree in spring 25. Obviously, the time is ticking, but we do anticipate there is a short chance that we may have to push it to fall 25. That was our first bachelor's degree. And as soon as we get this rolling, we're going to be submitting for our next application. We've explored ideas such as aerospace management to support the work over at SCLA. And as you probably know, every 6 months, every time they open up the applications again, more and more are becoming available for us to be on the streamline process. So if you don't know, there's a list of bachelor's degrees on the streamline process where these are just approved by the state, and as long as you can fill out a decent application, you probably will get selected. But you also have the ability to be innovative in your question. Like, you can submit a brand new bachelor's degree and then try to navigate the long process to get that approved, where you're competing with states or the UCs, and you get everybody to sign off, including the chancellor's office. Now we are looking at the streamlined options to see what can we bring after our respiratory therapy, because respiratory therapy, we had to do all the hard work, right? We had financial aid and multiple things, reset up our admissions and records, our fees, our bursars. We had to change our computer systems to, accommodate this bachelor's degree. So I think that the very first one is difficult. We anticipate moving after this that it will be easier. And I think with having such a well-known and well-respected nursing program, that's absolutely the place that we should go to next. Absolutely.
Great, thank you. Can I go back to the commercial truck driving? Do you guys do any contract ed with any local businesses as far as student training offset for that? Are you seeing success rate numbers that you can track as far as those students that get the CDL license through you? You said the success rate was over 70%. What of those 70% are going directly into the marketplace as far as job placement?
I think that with most CTE, that is an area of improvement, of truly tracking with certainty where are people going once they leave here.
It's the respondents that's the issue. It's not our efforts, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And and so I would say that our information is anecdotal at this point. But it does exist, to the degree that within the last 6 months, I believe, we brought back a student to share at our board meeting. They're one of our 6 months. And he shared his story and journey of, from start to finish in our program, and now how he is traveling the United States as a truck driver. So anecdotally, we are in careers, but we do not have the hard data that we wish that we had, and that I think that we can do better in securing.
Same.
Yes.
I think that feeling is mutual, yes. Thank you.
We got
Are you
the
still
next
going?
agenda item is
Okay.
the firefighter. You're not
Well,
done
Paul
with
was
me
looking
yet.
at me funny, so I thought I was supposed to do something.
Nothing personal. It's that look. I don't know.
Okay. So the other program that I was told that you wanted to hear about was our Firefighter Academy. And this is shifting gears, not non-credit. This is a credit program. And our Firefighter Academy is a 12-week program. Our students go from 6:30 in the morning to 6 p.m. at night, 5 days a week, with some intense training. But they walk out of there assuming that they passed their final test with a Firefighter 1 certificate, which is the baseline of what you need to become a firefighter. And they also come out with about 7 or 10 additional certificates, which we are told, at least they sell it to me, that these certificates are make us a little bit extra special here in the high desert, because the average additional certification in local community college firefighter programs is around 3 to 5, and we're at 10.
Nice.
So they come out with state fire marshal recognized and nationally recognized certificates in the Firefighter 1 certificate. But before they go in, they have a few prerequisites they have to make. They have 3 fire classes that they have to take, and they also have to have either EMS 60 or a EMT certificate. They have physical agility that they have to pass before they're actually accepted into the program. They have to be able to run a 1.5 miles in 15 minutes, do 60 push-ups in 2 minutes, 60 sit-ups in 2 minutes, minutes, 35 push-ups in 2 minutes, lift over 50 pounds, do 5 overhand pull-ups, and or pass the Biddle test. There is a cost, a little bit of a hefty fee for community college's perspective to attend. If you looked at the enrollment fees, including the material fees, it's $3,447 for a student to go through the fire academy. And that picture up there is an aerial view of our academy. You'll see the 5-story fire tower, which is the highest building in Apple Valley. It's one of our claim to fame. So if you go on the tour with us, and in order to apply for the academy, you have to make sure you have to prove that you passed all of those requisites. You meet those requirements of the EMT certificate. You send that paperwork to our fire technology program. You complete the academy application, and then students are notified if they are accepted. Once they're accepted, they go to a fitting day orientation, and then the fun of the 12 weeks begins. We're actually having our fire academy graduation this Saturday. It's the 40th academy that we've had, and we have been in operation since the early 80s, producing firefighters. So
Great, awesome. Thank you for that information. I know this is something that speaks directly to VP Julie's heart. Before she was mayor, before she was on the college board of trustees, she was mayor, and before she was mayor, she was a board member for the local fire district in Barstow. One of the things that that we've seen in our community is, the hard sell of getting new firefighters to come into our community from outside of our community, and there's different things with that. But seeing students or young fire explorers, Julie has a lot of experience with them. Getting to the place where they want to get the job, and they want to be in Barstow, they want to stay in Barstow, but having the hard time of getting into the fire academy, getting licensed and trained and stuff like that. So I think one of the big asks that we're looking at is placeholders for residents from the Barstow area. That would be something that we would really appreciate. We would love to facilitate some of our EMT students, that have already done the courses, done the licensing and the credits through Barstow Community College, have that be a placeholder here. If we can collaborate in that area, that would be fantastic. I think that would help Barstow out. It would help the safety of our community, and it would also help those young adults trying to get their foot in the door with a good career job that they love helping out in the community, going right in there. And I think that would be something that would be mutually appreciative of. So if we could have further discussions on that, that would be fantastic. I know it's a difficult ask, but it's an idea, it's a thought, and then hopefully that sparks, some good collaboration.
So I don't know the answer on that, but we definitely are willing to explore it in its fullest and
Excellent.
do whatever we can do.
Much appreciated. Thank you. And we love your guys' fire academy. Local Barstow firemen have been teaching in your academy for decades, so we're familiar with them. We're familiar with how excellent your program is, and it's one of those things that we really love about Victor Valley College and what you guys do here.
Paul, can I ask
Yeah,
a
please,
question?
Julie.
Well, thank you, because I was at your opening of that academy years ago. But I know that because of the placeholders, in Barstow, you have to be an EMT firefighter. So they have to go through the EMT course and then try and get into the firefighter course after the EMT. So that's kind of one of the reasons why it's kind of important to have and ask about placeholders. Paul, that's a good idea.
Can we pause just a moment here? Our instructors for the restaurant management program have to leave, but we wanted to take a moment because they have 7 o'clock classes in the morning to teach. And so here's our department chair, King of the Mountain over here, Tyler Bush.
I say he is the best weapon of a somebody running a culinary program in the entire Mojave River Valley. So you're helping my waist get big. Was that a great dinner tonight?
That soup, was it homemade? From scratch? No, we actually got the reason I say that is because I'm familiar with kitchens. Farmer Brothers Coffee delivered in the high desert was one of the best homemade soup. Javier out at this soup fire. Yes. Hey, so hats off. Hats off, man. That was a great soup. Great soup. Very good. Great job. Thank you, guys.
I was going to throw a suggestion out for incoming President Wood that maybe next year when we host, that maybe we host him out at the fire academy. So I remember after Ted Baca and I had the conversation about doing this, that was the first place that we held. And I know the people from Barstow were really, I mean, it was mind-boggling for me as a trustee to see. I mean, it's such a great complex. So maybe just throw out that idea for our next meal over here. The what? Yeah. I will say one thing about the fire issue. We are very vested in Barstow. We built a subdivision. We have a very large retail project. We've owned a couple of companies. Barstow has lost some very well-known firefighters in the last couple of years. And when they lose one of their firefighters, everybody in town knows it. It's really a big deal. So I think if there's a way that we can figure out a way to do that, I just think it brings the communities together. With the growth that I see coming in here, I do see a lot of collaboration that will help leverage all of our towns. I guess BNSF expansion. Is that the next topic? I can help you a little bit.
No, that would be great. I mean, I think we talked about the electric hostlers. We're really building on the programs that we have, logistics, warehouse, electrical. We already have contract education with BNSF, which we've had quite a few years with welding. But we're really poised for, it's the zero emission aspect of it. It's renewable energy, and that's where we're pursuing opportunities, partnering with NextEra Energy Company. But I really see, for example, the focus on the infrastructure, building the facility. So really, as we introduce the idea of the electrical program, we're really helping to provide the workforce for that infrastructure for starters. And then, we're waiting to see obviously what happens. But,
Is
one
the
way or
electric train thing gonna be a thing?
not yet, no. But I think the hostlers, that's all electric vehicle, But, I mean, that's the whole issue as to why BNSF is struggling so much. The technology just isn't there yet.
Yeah, I think what the hardest part with Barstow Community College and is BNSF hasn't said, yes, this is a list of training we would like to see through Barstow Community College. They haven't provided that. We've asked, and we've asked to go to other facilities at other communities, Dallas, Fort Worth, for instance, see what kind of educational opportunities that they have locally there. So we're doing that ask. The hard part is are we going to be flexible enough when it comes down 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and then they do come and ask and say, yep, we need this. Are we going to be have the finances to move? Are we going to have the educators to move? Are we going to have the facilities to move in that direction? So a part of our collaboration here is being able to know what you guys do here, what Victor Valley does really well, and I appreciate the openness and the honesty of opening up what you guys have here to our board, so that we can be aware of, yes, there is opportunities there. We can help here. We can help there. But when BNSF hits, which with the turn of the elections, whether you're excited or you're depressed and you want to cover yourself with a blanket, I think that opens up the high likelihood of BNSF's plans and operation of moving dirt in 2 years, a higher than 70% success rate. And I know Mr. Brady here mentioned that BNSF is getting ready to looking at the community development just outside of Phoenix. They're waiting on a nod from the city leaders there, and they're going to start pushing dirt probably within 12 to 18 months in Phoenix with a sister facility, not quite as large as what Barstow has. But from what we've been told, a lot of the ground operations use facilities is going to be crane. It's going to be electric hostler. And so for probably the 2 years leading up to them opening up the operation center, it's going to be just local contractors and getting the groundwork done. So we have high hopes for the city. The city should be moving and hopefully putting up houses. Without houses, we're not going to grow. So that's the difficulty we're in. And we wanted to make sure, I don't know very many of you, I know Trustee Brady, President Brady was at the BNSF Summit that they hosted at Barstow Community College PAC recently, so he was able to hear firsthand what BNSF's operations facilities. Lena Kent was telling the community, and she said, yep, we're all in with Barstow. So it's exciting. We think it's moving forward in that direction, so thank you.
Let me paint a real positive picture about BNSF, because it's like Brightline, the speed train, and people get confused when they hear the train. The speed train from Ranch Cucamonga to Vegas, that should be determined if that fully goes ahead by March. We're lucky that they're going to be speaking to our board here this next month. But let me give you a couple facts about the BNSF project, because it's not only mind-boggling, but I think it's really what brings us together. When we've been out in Barstow for way too long doing deals. And about 10 years ago, somebody in my office discovered, because we track people buying land out here, that's what we do. And one day we noticed that there was a pattern of some land being bought out on Linwood Road by a group, and we pulled the deeds, and it was a company called BNSF. And they just kept buying very quietly, and they didn't tell anybody. They didn't tell the county. They didn't tell Kurt Mitchell, the city manager. They told nobody. Well, by the time that they had closed on 1,100 acres, they now had about 2,500 acres. I took a map into City Hall one day because we meet every month over our project. And I said to Kurt, I said, have you ever seen this? He said, what is this? I said, it's BNSF. Well, imagine what 4,600 acres looks like. So 640 acres is a mile wide, a mile deep. They have 4,600 acres that they have bought. They're not under contract, they have purchased. The project that they have told Barstow is a minimum of a $1.5 billion investment, a minimum. So when I say what they've told Barstow, I'm lucky enough that I have a client that we have put in a very large transaction out there, and we're on the phone with BNSF. So they've shared some things I can't say publicly, but I can at least say, I think the electric train issue, where CARB, the California Air Resources Board, is trying to cram that down. I think that's going to die a happy death, and it might die a happy death at the end of December in a Senate bill. But long story short, they claim it's going to create 22,000 jobs within their system. So if you look at the press release within their system, we've come to find out by talking to them that there'll be 3,500 construction jobs, all union. I know this valley pretty well, and I know our college and everybody in here. Tell me where you could find 3,500 construction people today. You can't. They don't even exist. So they're all union jobs. Out of the 22,000, there's an economic study that is done. It's on their desk at Dallas. We just got the email today. Hopefully be released to us in early January. They believe, or we believe, by private sector analysis, that out of the 22,000 jobs, 7,000 jobs will go directly to Barstow. Success breeds everybody's success. Our board is tired of hearing me. I'm deeply scared on the fact that we don't have enough jobs out here, okay? Your city, 85% of your adults are on welfare. 55% of our adults here are on welfare. And it's something we don't want to talk about. We'd love to have them in our seats. You'd love to have them educated. The more education, the more money. You know, so there's a ton of opportunities, I think, for all of us out here. And I think tonight really is kind of the beginning of starting that dialogue again. And I think that more often we do it because this is our time now. There's 3 areas in Southern California that are going to grow: the Antelope Valley, this valley, the Coachella Valley. And I think it's time for all of us to grow. And you know, Brandon's kids have kids and stay up here. And I think everybody wants to stay up here, but you know, we got to have the money and the infrastructure and all that in order to.
I believe Measure JJ passed in '08, right?
05.
What was it? '08. So
08.
2008, it was a $300 million bond. We have today sold close to 200 million. We have another 100 million to sell. We sell it as property values go up. But here's some of the things that we've been able to do. We're going to ask our Vice President here to walk you through this.
Great, thank you, Dr. Walden. So Dee Dee said she would kick me. She has more history here than I do. So if I say something
she does.
Inaccurate. So 08, $300 million bond passed by the community. I've been part of a bond project, not here, but I do, just to mention bonds, we sold it by celebrating the successes we had. The community was proud of the institution, and we were doing things, and we were out there, and we want to do more. And the only way we can do more is by community support. And so that was kind of our, in a different organization I was in, is how we got the bond passed. Just our president mentioned Victor Valley Union High School District passed a $360 million bond, 2 measures recently, but even conservative communities passed bonds in San Bernardino County, in our K-12 partners. Snowline, Fontana, Mountain View, Rim of the World, Redlands, Morongo, and Colton all passed facility bond. And as you know, Proposition 2 passed at the state level, so hopefully we're going to get a piece of that here. So a little bit of our history, Measure JJ. Obviously, Dr. Tarango spoke highly of our Regional Public Safety Training Center. That was our first project. So not only do we have the fire program there, but we also do criminal justice. 2 of the 3 post certifications are there. We have a firing range that our CHP partners use, and we've had over 20,000 graduates come out of that program. So pretty impressive. We redid the music building, modernized that for some of our programs. The School of Health Sciences building expansion. So we have a mock hospital there, a lot of work-based learning opportunities, and people have shared, one of our top nursing programs in the state. So that was a project. We also had an energy project. So you'll see solar on campus around. We did that through a bond measure. We did some upgrades to the gymnasium, HVAC, and as well as the campus roadway parking lot improvements. So if you come to the front of the campus, our turnabout's there, and it took me a second to figure out which parking lot I was going to, but I've got it now. But really the flow of traffic moves quite quickly in the front of campus and doesn't back up. So some great improvements there in our parking lot areas. Our vocational complex, and so that was project number 4. So expanded some automotive labs, replaced the welding lab, added some classrooms, some restrooms down in that facility, and so also did some infrastructure, some paving work to unify all of our CTE programs, and that way. So amazing the work we're doing there. The automotive program, we're working on EV vehicles now too, so we've wrapped those well, and it's incredible. Also a state smog program down there. If you want to challenge your not smog certificate, they'll send you our way. So really incredible programs down there. We talked a little bit about the Student Services Center. This is our one-stop. So Dr. Tarango shared with me when she was a student here, she had to go to 9 different places to register. And so one office led to the next office, led to the next office. And so the one-stop center, where previously students were sent to many offices, everyone goes through this single office to register, bursar's office, records, all under one roof, so we can support the students. And if you go out the back of that building and make a right, that next building is our second stop, where Dr. Walden talked about all the support services we have there. So everything's centralized for our students. This is just another picture of our one stop. It's the building on the left where people are seated. I imagine this was one of the ceremonies we had when the groundbreaking occurred.
Yeah.
Or maybe the dedication.
That was a ribbon cutting. Yeah.
Ribbon cutting dedication. Yeah. We also modernized 50, 52, and 55. So 3 buildings. We didn't. The outside shell was in good shape. The inside not so much. I've heard stories, but 3 buildings we were able to modernize completely, redo. And from what I've heard, you wouldn't be able to tell it was the same building from the inside when they started and when they finished. So that work has been complete. Big priority for the college. There's another picture of one of our buildings, and you can see that. And then here we are in the Educational Event Center. So this event center, these walls come up. And so if you had people seated in a row, you could have 900 people in here for an event. We do have tables that come out, so 624 people can come. And I'm checking my facts here. Obviously, an incredible facility, over 20,000 square feet. There's a kitchen, a warming kitchen in the back where our students provided the food. So this is run by our foundation. And so I know someone wants to say something, so please jump in. But it's run by our foundation, and so we are having events already in this facility. We've had the High Desert Education Summit in this facility, Bridge Counselor Seminar, 2 articulation summits. Coming up, we have several holiday parties. We're going to have a paramedic graduation we're really excited about. And Excelsior High School, their graduation is going to be in this building. And so
on the ball field.
What's that?
They're going to graduate on the ball field.
Ball field, okay. So they'll use both facilities. Okay.
Before you leave the event center,
Yes, sir.
So this is the boardroom. Normally, we only have those doors open. We open it tonight to impress you, so you can see what. You can see what the dais looks like, because we didn't figure you'd come to an actual board meeting, regular scheduled, because you have your own. But those hide that, and then it becomes a wall. So this just becomes another room. like he said, those petitions on the wall, on the sides, they're 18 inches wide, by the way. They completely do the sound and take care of it. These are high quality. I'm not even gonna tell you how much they cost because you would probably fall over. But they go up and they're flush with the ceiling. You can't even see them. Takes about 3 to 5 minutes. Like a nuclear facility, it takes 3 people to go up and down because 2 people have to have a separate key and then someone to punch the button because things can happen that we don't want to happen. And so that's a safety measure that was built in. When that wall is up, you go all the way over is our warming kitchen. You can go walk through that when the building's over tonight. Make sure you check out these bathrooms. They're the nicest bathrooms in the high desert. I promise you, you've never seen anything like it. And then, see, they're nodding because they know. And then right over here, we have a conference room where the board meets for closed session. And so this was set up for 3 classrooms or any kind of other events. Some of our events have just used like 2 salons. So there's salon A, B, C, and some have used all 3 salons. Just already in the last month, this has happened. And so we're just really excited about that. They have the outside, both here behind me and then out here in the front, were all built for expanding events, to have things outside. So if you were at the Educational Summit, you know that there was all kinds of presenters out here with their little tents and whatever, and everybody went out there, and the walls went up, and then the walls came down, and that's just how the song goes, right? And so that's what happens here. So we're very proud of this facility. It's just so versatile, does so many things. You can just use the foyer. You can use those glass doors that face Fish Hatchery out here, slide back completely and open that up to that breezeway out there that you see. So you can have events outside in the good weather. And when the wind blows and it's not nice, then you can close them and come inside.
All right. And Chris Nunez will be happy to take reservations. He's our one that will help secure space here. So just a few pictures, what Dr. Walden was speaking of. Also another huge win and priority for us. So in 60 years, this football season is the first time that our football team played on campus. And so that's a brand new football facility. Also, our soccer teams will be using that. And then full track. And so that was during construction. But you can see that right out here.
That seats 4,000 as is with expansion ability of another 1,000 or maybe more. I cannot remember. Maybe it's 2,000. That is the same field that UCLA has. That track, which is, that's not a recent picture of the track. So the track went down after this picture. But the track is a Mondo track, which is the track they use for Olympics. And they're 42-inch, 9-laned. And it's the whole thing is built for track and field. We don't have a track and field program yet, but we built it for that because we believe there's a demand for it. So we're buying $1 million cover to cover the thing so that we can have concerts and graduation events. Like, for example, Excelsior is used to spending $70,000 on their graduation. Well, we're going to get that $70,000 over here, right, Chris? And we're going to cover that field because we don't want their chairs poking holes. And they can build stages out there. We're going to bring Chris Stapleton or Metallica or whoever.
Actually, he told me he was going to get Bon Jovi.
That's one of my favorites.
I thought that was big.
Bon Jovi's playing at my funeral. So if he's still alive.
It's my life. It's now or never.
That's it. It's my life. That's the one. Okay.
I sing it every night before I go to bed.
They said you're halfway there.
Yeah.
I may be farther than half.
So there's another picture of the stadium. And then to complete that, so we have the event center, we have a stadium, and then we have a baseball field that we are redoing. So the baseball field is, well, thank you for letting us practice. So we're still working on that. And so we're putting in some bleachers.
They're probably wondering now, why can't you play on that? Well,
Yeah.
we have the bleachers and the restrooms and the other stuff. Please don't back out. We just signed a contract. Okay, I signed it, you signed it, I signed it, that's all you see.
So future projects, like Dr. Walden mentioned, we have about $100 million left on the bond. But future projects quickly will be a parking lot between the event center and our gymnasium. There's an old tennis court there that we'll take down. There'll be a concrete parking lot and 306 parking stalls for both the gymnasium and the event center. We're going to add field houses around the stadium for sporting equipment and our sports teams. So that will be out there. And then a few projects down the road that we have yet to get board approved, but looking at educational building, taking that down as really poor infrastructure and doing a two-story educational lecture building on campus. And then maybe the oldest building on campus is my office.
You know what that office was? That was the original sales center for Spring Valley Lake, and there was a Circle K convenience store in there in 1969.
Yeah, I hear things when I'm in there by myself. So right now, human resources.
If you're there by yourself
Yeah.
and you just be quiet, you can really hear things.
All right. A little nervous. Go back to the office now. But so human resources, administrative services, fiscal services, payroll. We're kind of on that side of campus, and so down the road, a new building 10. So, and then future projects to come. We're in the middle of updating our facility needs assessment, and more to come. So excited about the work. Amazing. I just think this is all natural. Like when I was appointed and hired here, this was the boardroom. If you looked at our old boardroom, which is in my building, what a difference. So I just expect that this is what Victor Valley looks like, and 15, 20 years ago, that wasn't the case. So with the work of the community, yeah, there you go. So the work of the community and Project Measure JJ, what a difference. The community support and obviously the growth of the college and the programs that we've talked about tonight. A bond can really support those things.
So we have about $21 million of the bond money set aside. This is for us to compete for this $1.5 billion that just passed in Prop 2. So the other things he talked about that are still coming are going to pretty much be done out of capital outlay. We have a thing called the GIC. The GIC's going to get kicked into capital outlay, and we're going to be, you know about the GIC, right? Yeah. Well, we're up against it, so we got to move that over, and we're going to close that out. And so the projects that he was just talking about, not the educational building, that stuff, those are the things we want to go after for the bond, like building 10, where he is, give him a new office, and then also this two-story building we want to build by the lake. So if you know building 30, we want to tear that down. It's really a lot of profanity gets used on that building around the campus. It's not really good, karma for the campus. So we're going to get rid of that and build a nice big two-story building, even longer and bigger, and be the best building on campus probably. But if you match your state dollars, dollar for dollar, your score to get that money goes way up. And so I've actually led projects when I was in LA where I took the lead. I got us a new theater building using state money like that, and it's because we were able to match it dollar for dollar. So we're talking about a $30 million building there by the lake. We're going to use 15 million of our 21 for that, and then where he is, that probably is a $16 million building where we'd put all fiscal services person, the fiscal office, the payroll, human resources, the foundation, and an office for Eric. So
Appreciate that.
So all that would be in the new one, and that's a $16 million project, and so we'd have to come up with $8 million to match that dollar for dollar. So that's kind of what we're thinking about. I mean, not all that's board approved yet, so that these folks have to make the final decision. But these are things we're working on with the vision of the college.
Forgetting housing.
Oh, yes.
Student housing.
So we do have plans for a 4-story apartment building on the campus. It's back that way.
It's that way. I'm a land guy. It's that way.
Okay, I don't know my directions. My
That's
wife's worse than
northwest.
me. But anyway, it's over here, or wherever Joe says it is.
See, in our land business, we just say you got 20 acres is out there somewhere.
So 240 bed facility. We were ranked third in the state, and we just found out the first two backed out. And one of them was College of Canyons, and they sent their money back. And so now we are being told that we can compete and probably be funded for our. So the Assemblyman Lackey is writing a letter to the governor and the legislature supporting, as well as Carrillo and some other lawmakers supporting this project for Victor Valley College to get this student housing. And when we get that, so Eva, I haven't fell off, the cliff. I would third party that out to run it, because we're not going to try to run it ourselves. So that's insanity. And it just would get rid of president after president after president. You'd never be able to keep one if you're running a facility like that. I've worked in four-year universities and residential universities, so I know what those things are. And I don't want to be anywhere near it, third party it, let somebody else run it. We would provide security, but that's it. But we're excited we'd kind of given up on that for a while. And then we just, like in the last 2 weeks, found out, hey, this might work out. So we're happy about that. We're done. I'm done.
Very good. Dr. Bagg, did you want to say anything else? Listen, on behalf of Barstow Community College, I really want to express our appreciation. Haley, Stephanie, you guys, thank you for, getting the hour, dealing with emails back and forth and crossing those T's, dotting the I's. Michelle, thank you. Hats off to our executive secretaries. Mackenzie, thank you for the updates. Eric, really appreciate the update on the bond. That's been helpful. Chris, facilities are fantastic. Great stuff. I think maybe, I don't know if we still have time for a small tour, but it's really, really fantastic. And to Victor Valley College Board trustees, thank you. Our heart goes out to you and appreciation. Really, Joe, this has been fantastic, and hopefully we can do it again soon in the future. I want to take really a brief second to give my trustees, my board, an opportunity to say something, because I've kind of hogged the mic a little bit, but my apologies to them. Yolanda?
I truly feel the same as Paul had said, that this is a great opportunity for us to get together. I've had children who attended Barstow and also Victor Valley, had a son who played football. So I really enjoyed seeing the field out there. That's really great. I'm going to take a picture and send it to him so he knows. But I think it's really important that we work together, because we have so many common goals for both our residents and for your residents. I mean, I have family that lives in Barstow, and I also have family that lives out here in Victor Valley. So I know that together we can both profit and prosper from everything that's going on between both of our colleges. And I appreciate everyone's support.
Thank you. Trustee John?
No, it's just impressive to see what you guys have done here, and to see how we can all grow and build a better high desert together. As we were talking earlier, I think we should be our own county. I don't think we should be a part of San Bernardino County. I think we should cut it off at Cajon Pass. I'm sorry, guys. It's just.
But how do we get down the hill?
We don't need to go down the hill. We're in the high desert. We're good.
Take the speed train.
So just impressive, and I think, like I said, the positivity is just amazing, and we just keep growing together and keep going forward.
AP Julie?
And we just keep growing together. She talked earlier. She's good.
All right, student trustee Ballard.
Thank you, President Joe Brady. We go back, I don't know how many years, but.
About 30.
Yeah, but looking at your new president, we have, I don't know if you know that, but we fought for the courts up in Sacramento.
We raged.
I know, we were great. So looking forward to working with you, continue that, but thank you
his
for.
team came out first, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got.
Oh, were you guys
All
on
of
the
us,
same-
yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll bet. Does anybody in here, even Joe? If Jen was here, she might know a little bit.
Mhm.
Nobody knows. I'll bet. Does anybody know? Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
I don't know.
Tell them if you want.
No,
We
go
were
ahead.
we were an angry mob with pitchforks and torches. It was awesome.
All us mayors for
Yeah.
the
So
San Bernardino County.
you want me to tell them?
Yes.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. It was more fun to be there, but we were over here reminiscing about the glory days when we were both angry and would do things out of anger. It was so
I don't know,
fun.
not so much. Yeah.
It was so fun.
It was.
So back when, Joe, you'll remember this, and the long-term residents will remember, when all of a sudden massive budget cuts were roaring through the county, the court was saddled with a massive. You were a JA, right? What?
No, I was a supervisor,
Like, yeah, okay. In Barstow Court?
San Bernardino and Barstow.
So they were doing these massive budget cuts, and it was really ugly. A lot of courts closed. A lot of people don't even know. There used to be a courthouse in Twin Peaks, a single-room courthouse. There is a courthouse. Well, that courthouse is still there. They're all still here. Needles, Barstow had 5 courtrooms, I think. There might be a 6th secret courtroom in the Barstow courthouse, but it's at least 5 that I know of.
It used to be in Judge Mellon's house.
Right. There's really 6 courtrooms, I think, in Barstow, though, but there's 5 that everybody knows of, and there's kind of 1. So that was a very active, very busy courthouse. The Victorville courthouse, of course, Big Bear, Twin Peaks, Chino Hills, Redlands, and then the ones that we all know of, San Bernardino, Rancho Fontana, and I might be missing one. So budget cuts start rolling in on the courts, and the court's solution is shut down and compress courthouses. And so they closed the Needles courthouse. Now think that through. Anybody who's driven to Needles, that's 3.5 hours, 3 hours to Barstow. So they shut down Needles, and now here they come and they say, we're axing Barstow as well. We're going to mothball the Barstow courthouse and compress down into Victorville. Now you're 3.5 hours for Needles, 35 minutes for Barstow to get to Victorville. Twin Peaks courthouse closed. All these folks on the top of the hill. Big Bear courthouse closed. And it's just getting ugly, right? It's getting really ugly. And you know, a lot of people don't care about a courthouse until they need some kind of a legal service. Like somebody rear ends you at a stoplight, God forbid, and now you're into litigation to get back what you're out, your medical bills and all this, and you don't want to do that, but you have to do it. And they go, well, you got to drive 3.5 hours for every court appearance. Your husband starts getting froggy, and you got to get rid of that guy and get him out. Oh, you got to drive 2 hours and 45 minutes now to get rid of old boy, right?
Just take him out of the desert.
You want custody of your kids or, you know, whatever. Oh, well, you got to drive 2 hours. And you're going, well, there's a courthouse right there. I can see it from my house. No, that's closed. So as this was all happening, I think it's old enough now that I can tell the truth. I was the president of the High Desert Bar Association at the time. The presiding judge, which is the boss of all judges in the county, Marcia Slough, she came to me and she said, look, I need help. I need people who are willing to say things that I can't say. I have to be politically correct. I have to be friendly. I have to not piss people off. I got to bite my tongue. I got to play the game. I need people who say what I need said that don't care. And I said, oh, Marcia, you called the right guy. I live for this. So I said, well, how many people you want? She said, how many can you get? I said, oh, it's like that. She said, yeah, it's like that. I said, well, what are we doing? She said, legislative budget subcommittee meetings and meeting with the governor in Sacramento. How long do we have? I don't know, 2-3 weeks. I said, we can do this. Mm-hmm. Julie was the mayor of Barstow. I got a hold of her. Got a hold of Paul, mayor of Ontario. Got a hold of Aquanetta, the mayor of Fontana. And then Albernolte,
mayor of Big Bear.
Bill Holland, mayor of Hesperia. It started growing because it affected, and the sales pitch was easy to all the mayors. Look, your residents are getting hosed on this, even if you're the Victorville or the Hesperia mayor, your people are still getting hosed because the courthouses are closing. And even though Victorville stays open, good luck getting in there because they're compressing all these other courthouses. You're going to be waiting months. You're going to be there all day for a simple thing. You're going to wait months to get a court date. So everybody's going to pay for this. Everybody got pretty outraged, which was awesome. And then we all got up at like 2 a.m., drove down to Ontario, got on a Southwest flight. Julie, I learned a very important thing from you. Julie had this thing that I didn't know that just like mayors or schools, Dan, you know, can get, and that's called a lobbyist. And Julie had called her lobbyist and said, I'm coming with a team, a huge mob, get us into where we need to be. And it was unbelievable, the 5-star customer service we got. He had breakfast wait. They picked us up. I mean, we looked like the president was coming in, picked us up in the black SUVs at the airport, you know, for 40 people. Took us to the office for your lobbyist, giant office across the street from the Capitol. They had breakfast all laid out for us. They had these aides and people who knew things and knew political words, and they were all very cool, and they treated us very good. And we all walked across the street as a group with her guy leading us right in through like the back door of the Capitol, the secret entrance, and right straight to all the secret places, right down on the floor of the legislature, out on the balcony. We got these photo ops out on the balcony, right straight into the governor's office. And eventually later on that day into the budget subcommittee. The budget subcommittee's in a room kind of like this. They're up on a big dais. There's however many of them. And, you know, they're just item 52, 256 million to go to Barstow Water Resource. Any discussion? Aye. Okay, next. Item 53. Any public comment? And we all come in. And Marcia Slough is sitting at a table about here with two or three other county PJs facing that group. And we all start coming in, and it's kind of a ruckus. It's 40 deep. And Marcia kind of turns around, and she sees me coming and the rest, and I'm like, and she gets these wide eyes, and she reaches down low and gives me a thumbs up and kind of turns back like she's seen a ghost. And I'm like, Marcia, you asked for an angry mob. And we proceeded to parade every single person. We ended up getting the president of the Court Reporters Association, the president of the Judicial Clerks Association, the union, president of the police and sheriffs, chairman of
the supervisors
for the state level. I mean, we had names in the room, and everybody putting public comments. And when they said, okay, public comment on item 65, 40 people stood up and lined up. And the budget subcommittee people went, oh. And everybody got up, and everybody did their 3 minutes. I'm Julie, I'm the mayor of Barstow. And blah, 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 blah. Next, I'm the mayor of Ontario. Blah, 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 blah. Next, I'm the president of the California Law Enforcement Association. And at one point they said, we need to pause. We need to go get more people that need to see this. More people came in. Continue. Everybody went. And at the end, they were like, you're going to get your money. And we left, and we met up with Marcia later, and she was like, oh my God, I can't believe what you've done. But it was, it felt good. We were angry, and we were a mob, and we had pitchforks.
We were a professional mob.
It was,
But
it was exciting, though. It was so fun.
what was so fun was the lobbyists have been there for so long that most of their relatives were probably the people that kept people out of different committee sessions. and they got us in. Because normally they don't allow that many to speak, but they got us all in. So it was pretty fun to watch that.
So
It was awesome.
That was our glory days.
We're
We're telling our grandkids this story. They're like, I didn't even know what a lobbyist is,
Yes.
Grandpa. Like,
And I was able to come back to Barstow.
Yeah.
because I had to spend a year in San
Didn't
Bernardino,
you? Mm-hmm.
and then a year in Victorville, and then finally back to Barstow where I could retire.
We did good.
and that's how you become vice president of the board. Thank you.
It's fun.
Thank you.
That's it.
Good story.
Well,
Good story.
well, no, I just
know,
thank you for
but,
this.
Sorry, Julie, you're good? Student trustee Valerie, and the last one, and then we're good from Barstow. I think we'll wrap this up.
I want to thank you guys for hosting us this evening. It was very beautiful. I also would like to know when is open enrollment. I'm looking to transfer. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You know where that road is? It's called Sidewinder. That's where the war was stopped years ago. Maybe that's where it starts again today.
No, I'm just kidding. Of
Funny,
course.
I remember that quick, huh?
It's Tuesday, by the way.
I look forward to what the future holds. It seems bright. I look forward to us having, everlasting collaboration between our two sister campuses, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this goes. So, thank you.
Thanks. First thing, Dr. Bagurock, I mean, you are, in my opinion, the best president superintendent that your college has seen. And I don't say it because we're friends. I admire you, and I admire what you're doing. Paul, thanks for your leadership. To your trustees, thanks for coming on out. To our trustees, thanks for participating in this, and to our great staff. There are 32 people on in here, and the story Brandon and Julie just told proved one thing. Together, we can do a lot of great things together, and I think that's what this is all about. I was thinking about when Brandon was telling and doing this, the fist thing. I kept thinking back on that lunch I had with Ted Baca. And Ted's not here tonight. He'd be so proud to see that this continued. I think this is our 7th so far. You lost. Many of you at Victor Valley didn't know Tim Hayden. I mean, Tim Hayden would walk from here to Barstow on hot coals for a student. There is nothing he wouldn't have done for a kid for Christmas. The guy was, when Tim called you, if you had $1 in the bank, you borrowed $100 out of your credit line to give it to him because he's just a great guy. And then lastly, Fred Bach. I'm sad he's not here. But I want to thank everybody for making this. Stephanie, Haley, thanks. Michelle, thanks for your help. I know emails fly in and out of our office, and sometimes I think the college thinks that I'm a little discombobulated and a little disorganized. We just have a lot of things going in our world. So thanks, everybody. We hope that you enjoy your tour. This is a great facility, and let's plan on doing this maybe in April, March or April, and do it again, and then it'll be up to President Wood to do it. So thanks again. Drive safe, and God bless America.